Merch shop is open! And I have Patreon with tiers and stuff if you wish to support me. Shoutouts to Brad, my biggest patron.
Video time, enjoy! Kobold, I almost can't read this.
Neither can I. It's a leak. It's basically the UA Kobold. I already made a video about it. Link below.
Does this mean that old Kobold is removed from the game? Are you going to die?
No, they have to do an errata, so this might not mean anything. But it having the same name as the original is really worrying. It might actually happen.
Kobold, Devil's Advocate, Pack Tactics plus Sunlight Sensitivity.
It's not a mechanical argument. Wizards of the Coast doesn't care.
What?
This is a big guess here, so take this with a grain of salt. It had to do with removing negative characteristics. Sunlight sensitivity is all they cared about removing. Also the -2 to strength, but they did that in October 2020. From what I remember, a long time ago, they got backlashed for orc lore and racial features being negative and stuff. I actually don't know the full story about it, but I do know that kobolds were also in the crossfire, even though it was a very effective race, even with the negative characteristics. That's what I think is really what made Kobolds so unique and well designed. Despite the negatives, they were still very good, and the people who were actually playing the race and knew how to bypass these negatives felt rewarded for it, and that translated to fun mechanics. Nothing in the game feels like a Kobold. Regular play was different, as in maybe the player and the DM forgot about the sun, and that translated to pretty much always advantage all the time. Or the player themselves would look at Kobold and be intimidated by the negative features that sunlight sensitivity has, and just condemn it on the spot without even trying the race to begin with. Basically, they want to open up the appeal for regular play and political reasons to appeal to both a wider and certain audience who they want playing their game. I understand that perspective. It's a good move from the company. A very strong argument. Mechanically, however, this is more of a negative characteristics than the old version, in my opinion. The features aren't good enough. The 3 options are incredibly bad. They are just footnotes for other races, really. The 10-foot cry is too small. You're too close to melee, and it takes your bonus action. Sure, it buffs your friends as well, but you would have to have a heavily optimized party in DPR to make this better than Pack Tactics in performance. Speaking of melee, if this errata happens, marshals and halfcasters are going to get nerfed because of this result. There are builds that rely on Pack Tactics, and they're going to be gone.
But Kobold, you can still play the old version, even if the errata happens.
You're right. It probably won't affect me at all, or will many years down the road. I play with good people. I'm also kind of known in the D&D community at this point, so I think people know what I like to play, and will let me play this. But to look at this critically, let's pretend I'm no one. This isn't official anymore by the company. They don't approve. Don't you think that's kind of sketchy? DMs might think this is some broken stuff from UA or something. People forget or have no idea where things come from. If it's in the books, it's usually just naturally accepted. People usually side with the game developers. They made this successful game after all. I think that's a strong argument to side with them. Also, majority of people like to run by the books. It's the most genuine experience of D&D. It's what the developers intended, what the game really is. And if this is removed from the books, that must equal bad at surface level understanding. Who am I to question the minds of successful game designers, Gator? I'm just a kobold with strong opinions about this game. I don't know anything about game design. I've never made a game in my life. I've DM'd. I have no authority whatsoever.
So, what now?
There's nothing we can do. I voiced my opinion in the UA. I gave them my feedback. I sent them my video. I'm not sure if they care for what I had to say or the other people who cared about the old Kobold as well. We seem to have lost the argument. The other side had a stronger case, it seems. So it's just to pray to Pun the errata never happens. Worst case, flavor is free. I can pick whatever race I want and flavor it into a kobold. Thank Crawford custom lineage exists. Anyways, in the UA version, I basically said make this a variant. Keep both versions in the game. That's it. End of video. Update. I won't be releasing any videos for a month. I'm retaking the exam. When I come back, there will be thunder.
Bye-bye.